Welcome, my soft-thinking listener. You've found yourself in the company of the Sleepy Sloth once again. A slow, scientifically minded fellow, who enjoys facts, feline lineage, and things that come from faraway places, very long ago. I must tell you something before we begin. Today, I consider myself a scientist in ancient cat breeds. A scientist who is almost always correct, except for those curious moments when I am not. But even then, I prefer to drift gently onward, rather than fuss over it. Because what truly matters is the information itself. Before I start, please, let me know, what is the most boring thing you would secretly love hearing about? Let me know gently, in the comments. Now, let us begin today's episode of Ancient Cat Breeds. Let us begin our journey not with a leap, but a slow, sleepy stretch, back to the sacred sands of ancient Egypt, around the year 3000 BC, when the cat was not simply a creature of fur and purrs, but a being of reverence and ritual. The sacred cat of Egypt, though not a single breed as we define breeds today, was something else entirely. A composite of feline forms observed, admired, and divinely elevated. They appeared in tombs, carved with care, watching eternally from the walls of time-worn temples. These cats were lithe, almond-eyed, and poised, often depicted sitting, front paws neatly arranged, as if they too were scholars of stillness. They were not merely companions. They were protectors of grain, guardians of homes, and, in many ways, small furry bridges between life and the afterlife. Their presence was seen as harmonious, their movements studied for omens, and their death mourned with mummification. Some scholars suggest they were the distant ancestors of what we now call the Egyptian Mao. But names are like desert winds, always shifting. What remains is the soft, silent paw print, left on the ancient heart of civilization. No one asked for this, and yet, here we are, drifting onward now, ever so slowly. To around 2000 BC, we find ourselves in the dense, shadowy regions of ancient Asia, where the wild and watchful Asian leopard cat moved with quiet purpose through thickets and bamboo groves. This small feline, covered in a fine pattern of rosettes and spots, is not a domestic breed, but a species all its own, Prionilurus bengalensis. It would not curl on your lap, nor wait gently for dinner. But, over thousands of years, humans, ever so curious and meddling, began to create hybrids between this wild wanderer and the domestic cat. These hybrid efforts would not appear until much later, in the 20th century, when the Bengal cat was born. But still, the origin of that journey, that pawprint in the genealogical dust, lies here, in the slow footsteps of the Asian leopard cat. Its genome, like a scroll gently unfurling, holds secrets passed down, like faint whispers, across millennia. And now, slowly, to the year 1500 BC, where we meet the Egyptian Mao. Spotted, elegant, and thought by many to be a living echo of the cats revered in Egyptian frescoes. The Mao is one of the only naturally spotted domestic breeds, and its name, Mao, simply means cat in ancient Egyptian. A name so simple, and so complete. The Mao walks with a gait called a tiptoe gait, a curious mechanical trait where the hind legs move with such strength and elegance. The cat appears to glide. Some Maos have a skin flap along their bellies, allowing for long leaps, and their eyes, a soft gooseberry green, appear ever so slightly startled, even when they are not. Their coat shimmers in light, each spot unique, like quiet punctuation on a paragraph written in fur. This fact is not exciting. not even a little bit. And that is just perfect. And so, onward we go, to 1000 BCE, and to the shores of the Red Sea, or perhaps the dry hills of ancient Abyssinia, what we now call Ethiopia, where the Abyssinian cat may have first made itself known. Slender, regal, with short ticked fur that catches light like grains of sand, the Abyssinian has often been said to resemble the sacred cats of Egypt. Whether this is myth or simply longing, we cannot say for sure. Its fur exhibits a agouti ticking, a genetic trait where each hair bears bands of alternating color, producing a soft shimmer, like sun on stone. Their ears are large, not by accident, but by design of evolution and selection. Abyssinians are watchers, quiet and alert, like sentinels left behind by time. They are not sleepy, but you, my listener, may feel the urge to close your eyes, just imagining one sitting beside you, utterly still, except for the slow, rhythmic flick of a tail. But first, a soft little detour, into 800 BC, to a land of rolling fields and damp stone abbeys, the realm we now call France, and to a cat known as the chartreux. This breed, wrapped in a thick, blue-gray coat, almost wool-like in texture, has long been shrouded in monastery myths. It is said the Carthusian monks kept them for companionship and silence. But no records confirm this, only stories passed from paw to page. The chartreux's coat is plush, water-repellent, and never patterned. Their face bears a soft, round expression, often mistaken for a smile. Their eyes are deep copper or gold, and their movements, slow, deliberate, like thoughts in meditation. They are a silent breed, often voiceless, preferring to observe rather than comment, to blink slowly rather than meow. And perhaps, just perhaps, that is why I adore them. Let us now glide to 600 BC, to the land of Thailand, though at the time, it was not called Thailand but a series of kingdoms where stories lived longer than people. There, we meet the Korat, known locally as Sisawat, a cat of silvery blue fur, like moonlight caught in fog. The Korat was considered a symbol of prosperity, often given in pairs to newlyweds, a purring promise of good fortune. Their coat is short, but not flat, their eyes a luminous peridot green, ripening with age. They were never bred for fashion, only revered for meaning. Their name comes from the Nakhon Ratchasima province, but to their people, they were not cats, but omens wrapped in fur. This is not thrilling. It is merely slow. And that is enough. We now pause, very briefly, in 500 BC, still in the lands we now call Thailand for the Siamese. Unlike their Korat cousins, the Siamese were leaner, louder, and cloaked in contrast. Their pointed coat, pale body with darkened extremities, is the result of a temperature-sensitive enzyme affecting pigment production. Where it is colder, ears, face, paws, and tail, the color deepens. Where it is warmer, the fur remains light. This phenomenon is called partial albinism. Their eyes are crystalline blue, shaped like water droplets not yet fallen. The Siamese were kept in temples, their long limbs and vocal cords adding to their mystique. Manuscripts from centuries past describe their behavior and posture, suggesting they were not only seen, but deeply understood. A cat, as prophecy. A cat, as silence broken gently. Now, we float forward, slowly, to 300 BC, to the snow-dusted plateaus of Anatolia, in what is now Turkey. Here, we find the Turkish Angora, one of the oldest long-haired breeds, a wisp of winter wind in feline form. Angoras often possess odd-eyed traits. One amber, one blue, caused by a condition called heterochromia iridum. Their coats are fine, single-layered, with no dense undercoat, allowing them to move like ghosts across marble floors. These cats have been noted in texts from the 16th century onward, but their true lineage likely extends further back, to caravans and crossroads, to markets where silk and song mingled. No one remembers their origin precisely. And that, my dear listener, is a mystery too soft to solve. And so we move, gently, ever so gently, to 100 BC, to the region of Lake Van, also in Turkey, where a most unusual cat has been swimming. Yes, swimming, for perhaps thousands of years. The Turkish Van is known for its love of water, a rare trait among felines. Its coat is semi-long, cashmere soft, and mostly white, except for the signature Van pattern coloring restricted to the head and tail. Their paw pads are often pink, their body muscular, and their voice surprisingly communicative. But it is their affinity for swimming that defines them. Cool streams, quiet fountains, shallow pools. They enter them with a calm curiosity, and emerge, dripping, yet dignified. A soggy mystery from a land where summers are dry. And cats, somehow, swim. Let us tiptoe to one sea, to the windswept Isle of Man, where a peculiar little creature began appearing in barns and cottages. The Manx cat, known for its taillessness, is a product of natural mutation. Some are completely without tails. Others have stumps or nubs, called rumpy, rumpy riser, or stumpy depending on their length. This trait, caused by a dominant gene with incomplete penetrance, is accompanied by a rounded back and powerful hindquarters, giving the Manx a rabbit-like hop. Their fur may be short or long, their faces gentle, and their origins softly argued over by scholars. Some say Viking ships brought them. Others say they've always been there. But none say why. They never finished growing a tail. And so, with our minds already wrapped in the whispering threads of time, let us now, ever so gently, step into the quiet mists of the year 500, where a peculiar feline with an unusually expressive tail, or sometimes, no tail at all, has woven itself into centuries of artistic brushstrokes and gentle folklore. The Japanese bobtail. Not merely a cat, but a creature of stories, sculptures, and painted silk screens. With a short, pom-pom-like tail that curls and spirals like an autumn leaf in slow descent. The bobtail has long been cherished in Japanese culture as a bringer of good luck and warder of evil spirits. One may recognize it in the form of the Maneki Neko, the beckoning cat, whose upright paw invites fortune and guests with silent patience. But beyond the superstitions, this breed's history is well rooted in reality. Records suggest its presence in Japan as early as the 6th century, when it was likely brought over from China or Korea, possibly aboard ships carrying Buddhist scriptures, or bundles of silk. Its coat may be long or short. Its eyes bright, oval, and often of two different colors. This condition, called heterochromia, is not uncommon among these gentle creatures. Their temperament is as light as rice paper, playful, sweet, and innately sociable. The bobtail walks with an almost rabbit-like gait, due to its unique spine and muscular hind legs. In Japan, it was never bred for prestige. It simply was an ever-present companion in homes, on farms, and in temples, where it may have slept in sun-warmed corners, or watched raindrops with devoted slowness. Its presence in art is more than decorative, it is historical testimony, left behind in ink and glaze. And though the world is faster now, the Japanese bobtail remains a gentle, bobbing reminder. That charm, does not require a long tail. Now, let us float, ever so softly, to the next quiet paw print in time. If we follow the warm breeze through the Thai lowlands, and let ourselves drift gently into the year 600, we may encounter a breed not newly born, but rediscovered, like a familiar scent from long ago. The Thai cat, sometimes called the traditional Siamese, is a feline whisper from the past. Unlike the modern Siamese, with its elongated form and sharp lines, the Thai is rounder, softer, closer in form to the temple companions once described in ancient manuscripts from the Ayutthaya kingdom. These records, found in the Tamra Mayu or cat book poems, date back many centuries, and describe cats with cream-colored bodies and dark points on their ears, tails, faces, and paws. But it is not merely their coloring that defines them. The Thai breed carries a particular type of moderate elegance. Not quite old-fashioned, but not stylized either. Their heads are apple-shaped, their eyes rounder, a deep, gleaming blue like moonlight captured in a bowl. For many years, these traditional Siamese faded into the background, as show standards favored the increasingly slender forms. But in the 20th century, preservation-minded breeders in Thailand and abroad worked quietly to keep the old form alive. This cat is not a reconstruction, but a continuation. A lineage maintained not by reinvention, but remembrance. They are talkative, yes, but with a voice that murmurs, rather than demands. They curl against you not for spectacle, but for warmth. In a world that rushes toward refinement, the Thai cat remains content in its original rhythm. A little slower, a little rounder, and just perfect. For those who listen softly. Let us drift onward now, like a leaf caught in quiet wind. And if we turn, ever so quietly, to the cold, green tapestry of Scandinavia, around the year 900, we find a cat that seems sculpted from pine bark, winter breath, and myth. The Norwegian Forest Cat, a breed both real and wrapped in soft legend, has long been whispered about in Norse tales. These were the Skokot, the forest cats, believed to be companions of gods, climbers of impossible heights, and riders of chariots in the old stories. But behind the myth lies a very tangible creature, adapted through centuries to survive and thrive in Norway's dense, snow-laden forests. Their coat is a marvel of natural engineering. It consists of a water-resistant top layer and a dense, woolly undercoat, forming a protective shield against cold and moisture. Their ears, tufted like miniature pine cones. Their tails, full and sweeping like the brush of a fox. Their paws, wide and tufted for silent snow walking. They climb with ease, owing to their strong claws and muscular limbs, traits useful not just for scaling trees, but for patrolling barns and homesteads. Though their exact origin remains a mystery, some say they descend from cats brought by Vikings. Others suggest Celtic lineages. The Norwegian forest cat is undeniably ancient. They were recognized formally in the 20th century, but they have always been known to those who watched the woods closely. And even now, they retain a touch of the wild, moving with silent dignity, settling only when they wish, blinking slowly, as if guarding ancient knowledge in their golden eyes. This fact is not exciting. Not even a little bit. And that is just perfect. Now, let us move through the snow to a deeper forest still. In the endless, frosted woods of Russia, where birches creak and winds speak in sighs, we find ourselves slowly entering the world of the Siberian cat. The year is somewhere near 1000, though the exact date is hidden beneath layers of fur and time. The Siberian is not a product of breeding, but of place. Nature shaped them with a soft, deliberate hand, forming a body strong, rounded, and built for survival. Their triple coat is one of the most luxurious in the feline world, comprised of a dense underlayer, a supportive middle, and a long, flowing topcoat that repels moisture and traps warmth. This adaptation allowed them to thrive in harsh conditions, where winter lingers long, and warmth is a memory. Their eyes come in green, gold, or even blue, sometimes in two different shades. And their ears, like the fir trees around them, stand watchful and wide. Though they likely roamed villages and forests for centuries, the Siberian cat was not formally recognized until the late 20th century. But recognition is not always the same as presence. They have always been there, slipping between wood piles, curling beneath ovens, padding through snowy paths with patience. Their temperament is gentle, yet watchful. They are said to be hypoallergenic to some degree, though science is still whispering about why. Perhaps it is something in their saliva. Or perhaps they are simply more tolerable because they ask for nothing except a warm place to rest. Let us stay with them just a moment longer, then drift gently forward. As we glide softly now into the year 1100, we find ourselves amid the patchwork pastures and mossy stone walls of medieval England. Here, among hedgerows and wooden barns, there existed a cat not yet named by breed, but known by behavior. The Anglo Shorthair. Though this particular label is more of a retrospective whisper than an official title, it speaks of the working cats that roamed villages and monasteries, chasing mice through cellars and curling in the nooks of thatched cottages. These cats were sturdy, broad-faced, and quietly enduring. They did not wear the silk coats of the exotic breeds, nor were they pampered. They were, simply, present. Believed to be descended in part from cats brought by the Romans, mixed and remixed with local feline populations over generations. These working cats slowly developed into what we now call the British Shorthair. But before they were British, they were just cats of the Isle. Their purpose was practical, their lives humble. Yet, even then, they were admired. Their plush coats, dense and weather-tolerant, came in many colors. Their round eyes and calm nature made them gentle fixtures in English life long before any breeding registry would give them a proper page. So while the Anglo Shorthair is not a standardized breed, it is a necessary shadow in the long silhouette of British feline history, a whisper behind the purr. And so, we drift on, not through halls of royalty, but through the forgotten barns and winding lanes of long-ago England. And now, let us take a curious little step, not just through years, but across waters, to a place where history folds in unexpected ways. The Cymric. A breed as round as a curled cat's tail, and as softly debated as the sea winds between Canada and the Isle of Man. The Cymric is, in its essence, a long-haired Manx. But it is not quite so simple. You see, the taillessness associated with the Manx cat is the result of a spontaneous genetic mutation, one that affects spinal development, producing cats with no tails at all, or just the faintest stub. This mutation, while ancient, was not limited to short-haired cats. Occasionally, a kitten would be born with a longer coat, and over time, breeders began to recognize these floofy outliers, and gave them a quiet distinction. Thus, the Cymric, though its name was chosen in the 20th century, borrowing from the Welsh word for Wales, the cats themselves likely existed long before names were given. Their coats are thick and double-layered, like fog over a lake. Their movements are rabbit-like, their demeanor thoughtful. They do not hurry. And neither should we. Whether their roots lie in Canadian breeding programs or hidden corners of Manx history, They carry the same gentle curiosity, the same preference for high places and quiet moments. The Cymric may not appear in every book, but it lives in the warm pauses between pages. Let us continue, but ever so drowsily now, through the soft and smoky corridors of medieval Europe, where around the year 1300, a cat of no particular name, yet every purpose, walked steadily through farms, kitchens, and cobbled courtyards. We now call it the European Shorthair. But for centuries, it was simply the cat. Ubiquitous, useful, unassuming. In every village, it watched bread rise and rodents scatter. It is not a breed of ornamental purpose, but one of quiet utility. And that makes it very special. The European Shorthair is not to be confused with its flashier cousins. It is a naturally occurring breed, standardized much later, particularly in Scandinavian countries where cat fanciers worked to preserve its hardy, balanced form. Its face is round, but not too round. Its body, firm, but not showy. A cat of moderation and quiet dignity. Coat colors vary wildly, striped, solid, patched. A reflection of its vast and mingled ancestry. But beneath the fur lies a cat shaped not by fashion, but by adaptation. Its paws are strong. Its temperament, unbothered. It is affectionate when it chooses, but never demanding. Like a well-worn tool, or a favorite walking path, the European Shorthair is there, unchanged, and quietly perfect. You may not remember seeing one. And that is precisely how they like it. Now, let us drift to a cat who stayed, and stayed, until one day, it was finally noticed. Somewhere around the year 1400, still nestled in the cozy hum of British hearths, we meet the cat that would one day be known as the British Shorthair. At the time, it was no more distinct than a shadow beside a candle. Yet it was there, undeniably. And patiently so. It is believed this breed is descended from cats brought to Britain by the Romans, who then mingled, for centuries, with local feline wanderers. These cats, like whispered poems, were shaped by time rather than intervention. By the 19th century, people began to take note. A certain density to the coat, a roundness of face, a plush, teddy bear stillness, that set these cats apart. The British Shorthair became one of the first breeds to be shown formally in exhibitions, its plush fur and calm demeanor drawing admiration. The most iconic color is British blue, a thick, smoky gray with copper eyes that seem to hold secrets about afternoon tea. But they also come in creams, silvers, blacks, and more. Their personality? Calm. Like a stone warmed in the sun. They rarely leap. They prefer to ponder. And if they purr, it is usually because they have already solved the problem of comfort. These cats have seen wars, and peace, and the slow turning of calendars. And through it all, they remained exactly what they always were. A soft, warm, circular presence on the edge of a chair. Let us not hurry past them. Let us stay just a little longer. As we meander softly into the 1500s, we find ourselves surrounded by green hills, misted heather, and quiet pastures. In Scotland, a land of long silences and folded secrets. And there, in a farmyard perhaps, or near a stone wall broken by moss, we meet the very first whispers of the Scottish fold. This breed, now known for its distinctively folded ears, ears that bend gently forward like a page being turned in an old book, was not recognized officially until 1961, when a cat named Susie, with those peculiar ears, was discovered on a Scottish farm. But the mutation itself likely appeared long before then. passed down silently from cat to kitten, unnoticed, or mistaken for something fleeting. This mutation, called an autosomal dominant gene affecting cartilage, results not just in the folded ears, but sometimes in other skeletal quirks as well. Because of this, ethical breeding requires delicate care. And so, not all Scottish folds have folded ears. Some remain upright, but carry the gene silently, like a memory tucked away. Their faces are rounded, their eyes wide and soft, and their voices? A gentle coo, almost like a pigeon sigh. These cats prefer stillness. They will sit, Buddha-like, with paws tucked under, observing the world with unwavering mildness. It is said they enjoy the company of quiet people. And perhaps, that is how we found them today. This breed is not flashy, nor loud. But it is folded. In time, in structure, and in comfort. And now, we drift to a cat who shares its roots, but speaks in slender lines. At this same moment in our journey, still within the gentle fog of the 1500s, we must also pause in another place, or perhaps, between two. For the Oriental Shorthair, as it is known today, is both old and new. It shares its ancient ancestry with the Siamese, sleek, angular, and vocal. Yet unlike the pointed coloration of its cousin, the Oriental Shorthair wears its coat in a multitude of hues, over 300 variations, if one truly wishes to count them all. Its roots lie in Thailand, where cats of solid and varied colors were known alongside the classic Siamese. But the modern Oriental was sculpted much later, in the quiet corners of 20th-century British and American breeding programs, where fanciers sought to preserve the Siamese body type, while expanding the color palette beyond the constraints of the traditional point pattern. Their ears are large, bat-like. Their eyes almond-shaped, often in luminous green. Their body, long, muscular, and impossibly graceful. They are known for their intelligence, and for their need, yes, their need, to be with people. Not just in the room, but on the lap, near the face, deeply entwined. Their voice is insistent, yet musical, like a long, expressive yawn that turns into a sentence. And though their appearance may seem modern, their spirit is ancient, restless, affectionate, and endlessly expressive. To meet an Oriental Shorthair is to be seen by a creature with opinions. And sometimes, that is exactly what we need. Let us now slip quietly across snow-swept steppes. Through the hushed winter breath of northern Russia, we arrive in the year 1600, and find ourselves near the icy port town of Arkhangelsk. A place where snow falls not just for days, but for months, and the skies bloom with polar silence. Here, it is said, the Russian blue first emerged, though like most cats, it made no announcement of its arrival. Cloaked in a short, dense coat the color of smoke-washed velvet, the Russian blue moves with a quiet grace. Its fur is double-layered, thick and plush, yet surprisingly fine, a natural barrier against cold and solitude. But it is not only the texture, it is the shimmer. Each hair is tipped in silver, catching light the way frost clings to window panes. Their eyes, a vivid, emerald green, seem almost too luminous for such a reserved creature. And reserved they are. The Russian blue is famously shy with strangers, but once trust is earned, it is a companion of quiet loyalty. Some say it was brought to England by sailors. Others believe it wandered south on its own, drawn by the quieter parts of Europe. By the 1800s, it appeared in cat shows, competing with other short-haired breeds. But it was always a little apart. A little unbothered. Its meow is gentle. Its step careful. It is the cat of long silences, of still rooms, of snow that never quite melts. And now, we tread onward, gently still, to a land of wooden porches and soft summer dust. We are in New England now, in the colonial hush of the 1700s, where tall ships creaked in harbors and winter came down from the pines with steady rhythm. Here, we find the early form of what we now call the Maine Coon. A cat not born from design, but from time, isolation, and adaptation. It is believed that these large, tufted, wide-eyed cats developed naturally, perhaps from ship cats brought by sailors, or long-haired cats that mingled with local strays and barn dwellers. Some legends whisper of Marie Antoinette's cats, escaping France aboard ships bound for America. But stories, like fur, can tangle over time. What remains true is this: the Maine Coon became the farmer's friend, the fisherman's companion, and the gentle giant of the cold Northeast. Their coats are thick, water-resistant, layered for snow and survival. Their tails are long, plume-like, sometimes wrapped around their faces as they sleep, like scarves of warmth. Their ears, often tipped with lynx-like tufts, help them navigate forests and barns alike. Despite their size, they are gentle, known for their chirping trills, and affectionate nature. They are not demanding, only present. A Maine Coon may sit with you all day, asking nothing. And when it does speak, it does so with a soft, inquisitive sound. These cats are still popular today, but their heart remains in wooden barns and quiet winters. Not flashy, but familiar. And like all the others we've met, they wait, calmly, for you to notice. In the hazy, dust-swirled fields of 1700s America, beneath sun-bleached barn roofs and the quiet rustle of prairie grass, a curious little ripple in the world of fur appeared, soft and unbothered by the pace of change. The law perm. Unlike most other cats, this one wore curls. Not styled, not sculpted, but natural, unplanned, like the result of a breeze that never stopped blowing. The law perm's coat is the product of a spontaneous mutation, one that causes the hair to grow in waves, and in ringlets, and sometimes in loose, frizzy tangles like a field left to grow wild. The earliest known example is traced back to Oregon in the 1980s, but the mutation itself is older, perhaps present even in the colonial-era barn cats of the early United States. These were working cats, catching mice between sacks of wheat and sleeping in haylofts, unaware that one day, someone would look at their coat and decide it was something quite special. Their curls vary by individual. Some law perms are born bald or with straight fur that curls only later. Their personality is gentle, sociable, and oddly dog-like. They follow their humans with soft curiosity, not because they must, but because they simply wish to. Their voice, if it comes, is a light meow, like a question half-formed. Their name, though styled in French, is American at heart, a playful homage to their unusual coat. And in a world of sleek and symmetrical creatures, the law perm is joyfully unruly. And now, with fur still tangled in time, let us drift into the crowded alleyways of something much, much smaller, tucked between buildings, where light filters and stripes. We find the Singapura, a cat so small, and yet so deliberate in its presence. The year is 1700, or perhaps later. Time with this breed is foggy, blurred by continents and the hush of streets. Singapura cats were first documented in Singapore, seen darting through drains, curled in doorways, or sunning on rooftops. They were unbothered by humans, but not unknown. Small in size, one of the smallest of all domestic breeds, the Singapura carries a ticked sepia-toned coat, ivory with fine brown markings, and eyes that glow in green or hazel hues. Their ears are large, always listening. Their bodies compact, but agile. The story of their recognition begins not in Singapore, but in the United States, where in the 1970s, breeders brought these small, curious cats from the streets into the world of pedigrees. But debates followed: were they truly native to Singapore, or a reimport of Burmese and Abyssinian blends? The truth remains as light as their footstep, not firmly pinned. What is certain is their presence. The Singapura is playful, but reserved, energetic, but soft. They prefer quiet corners, gentle laps, and the spaces between things. They are cats of the margins, of windowsills and lintels, of drifting thought. No one asked them to exist. They simply did. And now, they purr quietly in the corners of memory. But let us now take a broader breath, a longer pause, and consider a cat that has no pedigree, no papers, no fancy registry to speak of. The Moggy. A term, simple and cozy, for any cat who is just a cat. Found in kitchens, fields, cities, and porches across the entire world, the Moggy is the non-pedigreed domestic cat. The ordinary, the overlooked, and in many ways, the most essential. Every cat breed we've ever discussed likely began as a Moggy. They vary in color, temperament, body shape, and size. Some have long coats. Some have no tail. Some are chatty. Others barely make a sound. Moggies are not designed. They are discovered. They are shaped by the pressures of geography, climate, and companionship. Their genetic pool is vast, like a library with no index, but full of every kind of story. In rural areas, they keep the granaries clean. In cities, they share back alleys with pigeons and quiet thoughts. They carry no titles, no blue ribbons. But they are the parents of breeds, the baseline of feline diversity, the gentle constant behind every other name. And though you may not know their lineage, they know how to curl on your lap with perfect silence. They know when you are tired. And they stay. The Moggy is the heartbeat of the domestic cat. And now, with that soft truth wrapped gently around us, we drift on, toward cats with names, and papers, and stories with more polished edges. Somewhere around the year 1750, in the bustling colonial settlements of early America, a sturdier kind of cat began to emerge. The American Shorthair. These cats are believed to be descended from European mousers brought aboard ships, sailors' companions who guarded grain and guarded sleep. Once ashore, they mingled, multiplied, and settled. On farms, in towns, near mills and pantries. They became essential, yet unremarked. Their coat is short and dense, built to endure winters and shrug off rain. Their build? Solid, muscular, quietly powerful. Not dramatic. Their faces are broad, their demeanor calm. It was not until the late 1800s that people began to recognize them as something distinct. In cat shows, they were called domestic shorthair at first. But eventually, breeders began to refine them, selecting for consistency, health, and temperament. Thus, the American Shorthair was named. But even today, much of their appeal remains in their steadiness. They are known for their easygoing nature. Friendly, but not needy. Playful, but not excitable. They are the cat of rocking chairs, of polished wood floors, of open windows and folded newspapers. And though they began as working cats, they have become restful ones. A cat that fits into any home, any rhythm, and any quiet afternoon. And now, let us float to a coat the color of old mahogany, to a name that smells faintly of dark chocolate and quiet devotion. The Havana Brown. A breed born of the Siamese, and of curiosity. In the 1800s, some British breeders began crossing Siamese cats with black domestic shorthairs, and perhaps a Russian blue or two, seeking something darker, something smoother. What they discovered was a cat with a gleaming, warm brown coat. Not just brown, but rich, red-toned, glossy like a polished stone. These cats were distinct, and for a time, called Swiss mountain cats, though they had no true ties to Switzerland. Eventually, in the mid-20th century, the breed was refined further, particularly by American breeders, into the Havana Brown we know today. Their eyes are green, vivid, clear. Their muzzle is gently squared. Their whiskers long, expressive, and sensitive. And their personality? Oh, dear listener, it is gentle, affectionate, and loyal. They are known to reach out with a paw, lightly, politely, as if asking you to stay a little longer. They like conversation, not always in words, but in presence. And in a world full of coats and patterns, they wear just one, just brown. And that is quietly bold. And still drifting in the 1800s, we find ourselves in a place once known as Burma, now called Myanmar, where a cat named Wang Mao stepped softly into the hands of history. She was brought to the United States in the 1930s, and her descendants gave rise to what we now call the Burmese. Wang Mao appeared to be a Siamese at first glance, but her coat was darker, and her body rounder. Breeders discovered she carried both Burmese and Siamese traits, and through careful programs, a new breed was developed. The Burmese. Compact, muscular, and with coats that shine like polished bronze. They come in a variety of shades now, but the original Burmese is a deep sable, soft to the eye and to the touch. Their eyes, golden, white, seem to glow in dim light. Their voice is softer than the Siamese, but still carries the same desire for conversation. These cats are extroverted, affectionate, and sometimes described as dog-like in their loyalty. They like to be near, always near, to follow their people from room to room, to sit, to nap, to simply be. The Burmese does not ask for much, only that you do not leave. And if you must, return soon. Their presence is not loud, but it lingers, like the warmth left in a sunlit spot, long after the sun has moved on. And so, with breath softened like snowfall upon moss, we continue our gentle unraveling of feline time. Though its name may echo desert sands and temples worn smooth by centuries, the Sphinx is a cat of colder origins. This modern breed began its story not under Egyptian sun, but in the chill of mid-century Canada. In 1966, in Toronto, a domestic short-haired cat gave birth to a hairless kitten, due to a natural genetic mutation. He was named Prune. And though he was not the first hairless cat ever seen in history, he was the first to spark a sustained, intentional lineage. Breeders paired Prune and his descendants with Devon Rex and American Shorthair cats, carefully working to preserve the trait while nurturing genetic health. The result is the Sphinx we know today, a cat without fur, but not without warmth. Their skin is suede-like, soft and warm to the touch, often wrinkled in gentle folds around the face, legs, and belly. Their ears are large and alert, their eyes lemon-shaped and knowing. And though they appear otherworldly, alien even, their temperament is earthy, affectionate, and very human-oriented. They seek warmth, not just of sunbeams, but of laps and arms and familiar scents. They are active, social, and often comically mischievous. Contrary to their lack of fur, they require more care, not less, bathing to remove oils, warmth in colder months, and gentle touch always. The Sphinx is not ancient, not sacred, not myth, but still. It carries a quiet dignity, and a gaze that seems to remember more than its years suggest. And now, let us step softly onward, into a world where old traits blend into something quietly new. When the graceful elegance of the Siamese met the sturdy affection of the Burmese, the Tonkinese emerged, somewhere between shadow and sunbeam. Though hints of this blend existed in Southeast Asia long ago, the modern Tonkinese was developed more intentionally in North America. In the 1960s and 70s, when breeders in Canada and the US paired Siamese cats with Burmese to create a new harmony of traits. The result is a medium-sized cat with a coat that shimmers like silk, short, close-lying, and available in delicate colors like champagne, platinum, and natural mink. Their eyes are perhaps their most mesmerizing feature. Almond-shaped and often aqua. Not blue, not green. But something in between, like the color of shallow seas in early light. In spirit, the Tonkinese borrows the best of both its ancestors, the social spark of the Siamese and the affectionate grounding of the Burmese. They are playful, and prone to chatter, but also gentle and content in quiet company. They adore human companionship, not just as observers, but as participants. They will follow, inquire, curl, and converse. Not demanding, but insistent, in a soft way. Their intelligence is keen. Their curiosity unending. They are not cats for solitude, but for shared moments. For games. For gazes held just a second longer than usual. The Tonkinese does not replace its ancestors, it honors them. It is a blend of old songs sung in a new voice. And now, with that soft song still echoing, let us step a little deeper into fluffier folds of feline history. There is a cat whose name feels like a storybook title, and whose coat feels like the last page of a nap. The ragamuffin. A breed born from the ragdoll, but softened even further, genetically widened, temperamentally deepened. In the 1990s, some breeders wished to preserve the sweet nature of ragdolls while allowing for greater variety in color and structure. So they introduced other long-haired domestic cats into the lineage, expanding the genetic pool and softening certain traits. The result is the ragamuffin, large, plush, and impossibly huggable. Their coats are long and luxurious, yet resistant to matting. They come in every color and pattern. And their eyes, often walnut-shaped, can be blue, green, gold, or a blend between. They are cats who go limp when held, melting into arms with trusting weight. Their bodies are solid, but their demeanor is gentle, almost yielding. They are often described as puppy-like, for they greet you at doors, follow from room to room, and wait for you to sit, just so they can curl beside. They are not loud. Their voice is like their presence, warm, soft, and present when needed. Ragamuffins are slow to mature, physically and emotionally, and some may not reach full size until 4 years of age. They are bred for love. Quite literally. For the kind of quiet companionship that softens rooms and lengthens size. Not bred for shows, or for spectacle, but for the subtle art of being near. And now, with one last whisper of fur, we float toward elegance wrapped in silk. If a Siamese cat were to grow long hair as an afterthought, as a gentle rebellion, we would find the Balinese. Despite the name, the breed does not hail from Bali, but was named for the grace of Balinese dancers, whose quiet elegance mirrors the breed's every movement. The Balinese emerged from natural mutations in Siamese litters, occasional long-haired kittens, born unplanned, beginning in the early 20th century. Breeders in the United States began to develop these silky-coated Siamese variants more intentionally in the 1950s and beyond. The result is a cat with all the intelligence, sociability, and vocal charm of the Siamese, wrapped in a longer, plumed coat that flows softly as they move. Their body is lithe, fine-boned, and muscular beneath the silk. Their eyes are a vivid blue, almond-shaped and expressive. They are acrobats, talkers, and affectionate shadows. They will perch high, leap far, and weave themselves into your every routine. Their voice is unmistakable, melodic, insistent, never shy. But with the added coat comes a kind of visual softness, a quieting of edges, a smoothing of lines. The Balinese is sleek, but not severe. They carry the story of the Siamese into a new form. Not diluted, but refracted, like light through gauze. And now, with tails like fine paintbrushes trailing behind, we drift toward another branch of this same feline tree. The Javanese, another name not tied to geography, but to grace. This breed, closely related to the Balinese and Oriental Longhair, is a long-haired variant that emerged in the United States in the late 20th century. Originally considered part of the Balinese extension group, the Javanese was once defined as Balinese cats in non-traditional colors, such as lynx point, red point, or cream point. Over time, classification shifted, and the breed now falls under Oriental-type lineages. What matters more than naming is presence. Javanese cats are elegant, fine-boned, and often dramatic in coloration. Their coat is medium-long, silky, and close-lying, long enough to flow, but not enough to tangle. Their eyes are deep blue. Their ears large and curious. They are agile, acrobatic, and endlessly talkative. Like their Siamese cousins, they form strong bonds with their humans, and are rarely content to be ignored. They'll follow, interrupt, inquire, and perform. They are not background companions, but starring roles. Their intelligence is sharp. Their emotional sensitivity keen. If you're sad, they will know. If you're distracted, they will ask why. The Javanese is not a quiet bookend. They are the cat who turns the pages with you. Or perhaps demands a new story altogether. Their presence is vivid. Not loud, but unmissable. And now, with silken tails brushing against imagination, we drift onward again, toward cats shaped not by fur, but by tail. In the shifting woods of American catdom, a tail once shortened by nature became a symbol of wildness and wonder. The American bobtail. Though their appearance may evoke tales of lynx and forest spirits, these cats are domestic through and through. The breed began in the late 1960s when a short-tailed stray male named Yodi was found in Arizona. Yodi had a natural bobbed tail, likely the result of a spontaneous genetic mutation. He was bred with a seal point female, and the kittens also bore the shortened tails. From this point, breeders worked to develop the American bobtail into a consistent, recognized breed, selecting for health, temperament, and that distinctive tail. Today's bobtails have muscular bodies, tufted ears, and thick, plush coats, often with a wild, rugged appearance. But they are anything but feral. These cats are gentle giants, friendly, adaptable, and deeply human-oriented. Their tails, always unique in length and shape, are expressive, twitching and curling like miniature flags of mood. Their eyes are almond-shaped, often gold or copper, and they carry a certain watchfulness. They are slow to mature, taking up to 3 years to reach full development. And in personality, they are confident, dog-like, and intuitive. Many bond deeply with their families. and some are even known to walk on leashes. But they do not demand attention with volume. Instead, they wait, and observe, and appear beside you just when the silence feels too long. The American bobtail is wilderness softened, mystery made loyal. And now, with tail curled like a question mark, we pause, ready to wander further when the next chapter arrives. And so, our journey drifts slowly onward, like a feather settling on a quiet forest floor, where the Ossicat's story begins not in the wilds of jungle shadows, but rather in the thoughtful hands of American breeders in the mid-20th century. Though its name calls to mind the exotic ocelot, the Ossicat is a carefully crafted harmony of Abyssinian grace, Siamese elegance, and the sturdy American Shorthair's calm solidity. The first Ossicat, Tonga, born in 1964 in Michigan, bore the unmistakable spotted coat that would soon define the breed, a pattern so artfully arranged it seems like sunlight filtered through leaves, resting softly on tawny fur. These spots are not random, but symmetrically arranged thumbprints of nature's quiet design. Their muscular bodies move with gentle purpose, quiet and alert, yet without the slightest hint of wildness. Instead, the Ossicat offers a warm, companionable presence, fond of games and conversation, yet ever patient, as if it understands the slow rhythms of your breathing. In their amber eyes, you may glimpse the patience of a forest watching seasons turn. Let us float gently onward, toward a breed built for softness rather than wildness. Across the decades, a desire whispered among cat lovers for a feline companion who combined the Persian's round-faced, plush appearance with the ease of short hair. Enter the exotic Shorthair, a breed born in the United States in the 1960s from crosses between Persians and American Shorthairs. This cat wears the Persian's signature brachycephalic features, large, round eyes, a flat nose, and chubby cheeks, but its coat is a short, dense cloud, more manageable and less demanding. The exotic Shorthair's nature is as soft as its fur, quiet, affectionate, and content to follow you through sun-dappled rooms without fuss or hurry. They embody a plush stillness, a calm that lulls the household into slower rhythms. While grooming is simpler than with their long-haired cousins, a gentle brushing keeps their coat from becoming a tangled web, much like tending to a gentle moss bed after a rain. But first, a slow little detour. For this extra interesting fact, despite their short coat, exotic Shorthairs retain the Persian's tendency toward tear staining, a small quirk that many owners find endearing, a reminder of their shared heritage. Let us drift, ever so slowly, toward California's sunny stillness, where the ragdoll quietly emerged in the 1960s. From a gentle white cat named Josephine, breeder and Baker cultivated a lineage of cats renowned for their docile temperament and unique tendency to go limp when held, hence the name ragdoll. These cats possess large, expressive blue eyes set against silky semi-long coats that resist matting, offering a tactile softness that invites endless petting. Their bodies are substantial yet supple, like folded silk, big enough to fill a lap with warmth, yet light enough to feel like a quiet whisper of presence. The ragdoll's temperament is a lullaby itself, calm and affectionate, following their humans through rooms like a shadow seeking comfort. They speak softly, if at all, preferring gentle communication and close contact. Like a slowly unfolding story, their presence is steady and enduring, a balm to restless minds. They are not hurried or demanding, only quietly insistent upon belonging. Not long after, in 1968, the feline world discovered a little miracle of form, the American curl. This breed's hallmark is its delicate ears, curling backward in a gentle arc that seems painted by the slow brushstrokes of a thoughtful artist. Discovered in a stray kitten found on a California doorstep, the curled ears result from a spontaneous dominant genetic mutation, passed down lovingly through generations. The American curl's ears soften its silhouette, inviting a closer look, while its personality remains equally gentle, affectionate, playful, and endlessly curious without ever overwhelming. Their coats vary from short to long, each cat a soft brushstroke of warmth and curiosity. The curl is fully formed by a few weeks of age and requires no special care, just gentle admiration. These cats often greet their humans with soft chirps and a readiness to share quiet moments. Let us float gently onward as we explore the next ripple in the fabric of feline texture. In the rolling hills of Devonshire, England, a curious mutation caused a small, curly-coated cat to appear in 1960. The Devon Rex, discovered somewhat by accident, carries a coat unlike any other, soft waves and ripples of fine fur, often described as feeling like a cross between velvet and down feathers. Their ears are large and bat-like, perched atop delicate heads, giving them an appearance both whimsical and wise. The origin story begins with a stray named Curly, whose unique coat fascinated breeders, sparking a dedicated program to preserve and promote the breed. Unlike typical cats, the Devon Rex sheds very little and requires minimal grooming, making their fur feel like a permanent hug. Their temperament is sweet and playful, often described as kittenish well into adulthood, with a penchant for mischief tempered by deep affection. They leap lightly, move with quiet grace, and often seek the warmest lap in the room. Their eyes, large and luminous, hold secrets of old cottages and candlelit evenings. But first, a slow little detour. For this extra interesting fact, the Devon Rex's curly coat results from a unique recessive gene mutation, distinct from that of the Cornish Rex. Not far away, in Cornwall, another curly marvel appeared around the same time, the Cornish Rex. Unlike the Devon, the Cornish Rex's curls are tighter, its coat made of soft waves that cover the entire body except for the lower legs, feet, and tail tip, which often have shorter fur or are nearly bare. This breed's genetic mutation is different, dominant rather than recessive, making the Cornish Rex's origin a separate tale of feline genetic wonder. These cats are slender and athletic, moving with a graceful, almost liquid motion. Their large ears and oval eyes add to their distinctive look, while their coat, though short, provides warmth and a unique tactile experience, soft, downy, and slightly crinkled. Cornish Rexes are known for their playful intelligence and curiosity, often described as the cats who turn every day into a quiet adventure. They love to explore, climb, and pounce gently upon their favorite toys or the occasional wandering shadow. Their personality is a delicate balance of curiosity and calm, inviting you into a slow dance of companionship. And now, with that soft curl lingering in the air, let us pause and drift on, when you are ready. And so, we drift gently onward into the shadowed elegance of the 1870s, where a breed emerged, cloaked entirely in midnight black fur, carrying the mystique of a tiny, feline panther stalking softly through moonlit gardens. The Bombay cat, born in the United States, was the careful creation of breeder Nicky Horner, who sought to capture the sleek beauty and luminous eyes of the black panther in a domestic companion. Through crossing the sable-colored American Shorthair with the Burmese, she crafted a cat with a jet-black, glossy coat that seems to absorb light like the quiet depths of a forest pond at dusk. The Bombay's eyes are striking, round, copper or gold, glowing softly like embers in the dark. Their muscular, compact bodies move with the ease and silence of shadows, yet they carry the warmth and sociability of a devoted friend. Despite their exotic appearance, these cats are gentle and affectionate, often following their humans with quiet curiosity and a calm presence that settles like a slow, warm breeze. Their coats require little grooming, their temperament little fuss, just steady companionship in the quiet moments. Let us float gently onward into a soft blend of heritage and color. The Himalayan cat, emerging around the same era, is a breed born of deliberate blending, the meeting of the Persian's plush, voluminous coat with the Siamese's striking point coloration and icy blue eyes. Developed in both the United States and the United Kingdom, the Himalayan carries the calm dignity of the Persian's rounded features and thick fur, softened by the sharp contrast of color points on ears, face, paws, and tail. These points are inherited from the Siamese ancestor, a genetic expression of temperature-sensitive pigmentation that paints delicate darker patches on cooler parts of the body, like shadows playing across snow. The coat is long and dense, requiring gentle care and regular grooming, a tactile invitation to slow, soothing strokes that calm both cat and human alike. Himalayans are known for their sweet, placid temperament, often quiet and contemplative, with eyes that hold the depth of soft twilight. Their personalities suit still rooms and quiet afternoons, where they may lounge like plush sculptures, a living testament to patience and calm. A slow little detour. For this extra interesting fact, their distinctive color points only develop fully after a few weeks of life, as the kitten's body temperature adjusts to the ambient world. Moving across the channel, we find the British Longhair, a gentle giant among felines. This breed arose naturally as a long-haired variant of the British Shorthair, with ancestors tracing back to Roman cats and native British felines. Known for their dense, plush coats and sturdy, rounded bodies, British Longhairs carry a certain old-world gravitas wrapped in soft, thick fur. Their broad faces, large eyes, and calm dispositions make them a favorite among those who prefer a slow companion with a steady presence. Their fur, longer and denser than the shorthair cousins, often requires regular grooming, a rhythmic ritual of touch and patience. These cats are not rushed, they settle into homes like aged oak trees, bringing a sense of rooted calm and quiet dignity. They do not demand attention but offer it gently, like a soft weight resting against the edge of your consciousness. Let us drift, ever so slowly, into the varied hues of the Asian breed. The Asian cat, an elegant creation of the United Kingdom, is closely related to the Burmese, but offers a wider palette of coat colors and patterns. Bred in the late 20th century, the Asian encompasses a variety of appearances, from solid colors to shaded, spotted, and tabby patterns, all wrapped in a sleek, short coat. Their eyes are large and expressive, typically a warm gold or green, inviting slow, steady gazes and quiet companionship. The breed is known for its affectionate and playful nature, enjoying gentle interactions without fuss. Their movement is fluid and graceful, like a leaf drifting down a lazy stream. Asian cats are not demanding but attentive, thriving in calm households where their subtle charm can be appreciated. But first, a slow little detour. For this extra interesting fact, despite their relatively recent recognition, Asian cats carry genetic markers closely linked to the Burmese, revealing their shared heritage beneath diverse appearances. Then, there is the Burmilla, a breed born of happenstance in the United Kingdom during the 1980s when a Burmese cat and a chinchilla Persian crossed paths, resulting in kittens with shimmering silver-tipped coats and delicate markings. Their name combines Burmese and chinchilla, reflecting their dual ancestry. Burmillas possess a plush, medium-length coat that sparkles softly in light, and their expressive eyes, often green or yellow, shine with quiet intelligence. Their nature is calm and affectionate, perfectly suited to peaceful households. Burmillas move with a fluid grace, their coats whispering as they pass, much like moonlight rippling over still water. Their temperament is balanced, neither too playful nor too reserved, making them gentle companions who enjoy soft conversation and quiet observation. Let us float gently onward to a more recent mystery wrapped in fur. And so, in the twilight of the 19th century and the dawn of the 20th, a truly peculiar feline appeared in the United States, the Likoi. Sometimes called the werewolf cat, the Likoi is the result of a natural genetic mutation discovered in feral cats. Their coat is sparse and patchy, revealing a mix of hairless skin and wiry, roan-colored fur that gives them an otherworldly, almost mythic appearance. Unlike other cats bred for luxurious fur, the Likoi's patchiness is a defining feature, evoking the quiet mystery of a shadowy forest creature. Their eyes are large and bright, conveying intelligence and curiosity beneath their wild exterior. Despite their unusual looks, Likoi cats are affectionate and playful, with an almost dog-like loyalty. Their unique coat requires less grooming but benefits from gentle care to keep the sparse fur healthy. This breed reminds us that beauty and companionship can come in the softest, most unexpected forms. And now, as we let these thoughts settle like feathers drifting on a still pond, we gently prepare for whatever comes next. And so, we continue our gentle wander through time in whiskers, arriving softly in the frost-kissed city of St. Petersburg around 1880, where the Peterbald quietly began its unique tale. This breed's story is one of modern curiosity and gentle rebellion against the norm, a feline sculpted with an almost naked grace. Emerging from crosses involving the elegant oriental shorthair and the Russian hairless Don Sphinx, the Peterbald carries the signature hairlessness not as a flaw, but as an elegant expression of nature's diversity. Their skin is warm, soft, and sometimes covered in a fine peach fuzz, giving them an almost sculpted appearance, like a statue slowly breathing beneath the marble. Their slender bodies and long, graceful limbs move with the delicate assurance of a feather drifting on a silent breeze. Peterbalds are known for their affectionate nature, often seeking human warmth with the soft insistence of a winter sunbeam. Their lack of fur means they require gentle care, blankets, cozy laps, and careful protection from cold drafts. But first, a slow little detour. For this extra interesting fact, the breed's development was only officially recognized in the 1990s, although its genetic roots trace softly back to that 19th-century spark of curiosity in Russia's north. Floating gently onward, we cross the border to Ukraine, where another hairless wonder quietly curled its ears back in curiosity, the Ukrainian Levkoi. A breed born from the intentional crossing of the Donskoy and Scottish fold, the Levkoi features a rare and striking combination of folded ears paired with a mostly hairless, soft skin. This cat's appearance is almost sculptural, ears folding forward and inward like delicate petals, a skin that reveals the contours of muscles beneath, and eyes that glow with quiet intelligence. Though their looks may seem otherworldly, their temperament is surprisingly gentle and social. Ukrainian Levkois seek companionship and affection, often displaying a calm but curious nature. Their hairlessness means they enjoy warmth and soft places to nestle. Let us drift gently onward, with a whisper of Russian winters lingering in the air. In the cool shadowed forests of Russia, around 1884, a soft color point variant of the Siberian cat came into being, the Neva masquerade. These cats carry the majestic build and flowing semi-long coat of their Siberian ancestors but are adorned with the delicate, cool-toned points reminiscent of the Siamese family. Their eyes are a luminous blue, standing out like frozen pools under the pale moonlight, framed by masks of gentle darker fur on ears, face, paws, and tail. The Neva masquerade's thick coat is a marvel of insulation, designed for the harsh Russian winters, a coat that feels like the softest moss brushed with frost. These cats are robust and hardy, yet their temperament is calm, affectionate, and quietly dignified, with a calm confidence that seems to echo the stillness of snow falling on pine boughs. They require gentle grooming, a soft brush to untangle the long fur, and plenty of cozy spaces to retreat. And now, let us float on, the quiet snow muffling our footsteps as we move. Across the ocean in the United States, around 1885, the snowshoe quietly took form, a breed born from the crossing of Siamese cats and American shorthairs, blending pointed elegance with sturdy charm. Named for its distinctive white paws, resembling freshly fallen snow settling on dark earth, the snowshoe's coat is a short, soft blanket of warmth. Their faces carry a delicate inverted white V, a soft signature mark that whispers of Siamese heritage yet feels entirely their own. Their eyes, often a vibrant blue, invite slow, thoughtful gazes, and their personalities mirror their appearance, gentle, social, and quietly playful. Snowshoes are known for their affinity for human companionship, softly following their chosen person from room to room like a silent, loving shadow. They enjoy soft play and gentle cuddles, their coats requiring only occasional grooming to maintain their softness. But first, a slow little detour. For this extra interesting fact, snowshoes were only officially recognized as a breed in the late 20th century, though their earliest beginnings date back to the mid-1900s when the first intentional crossings took place. Moving into the dawn of the 1890s, a breed was created in the United States with the quiet ambition of resembling a serval, the wild and graceful cat of African plains, but without a trace of wild ancestry. The Serengeti cat, a breed still relatively new and rare, is the result of crossing Bengals with Oriental Shorthairs to produce a domestic feline sporting long legs, large ears, and striking spotted coats reminiscent of their wild inspiration. Their fur is short and sleek, patterned with bold spots and rosettes that shimmer in warm tones of gold and tawny brown. The Serengeti moves with a feline dancer's grace, light on their feet, alert and curious. Yet, their temperament remains sweet and affectionate, a perfect balance of wild beauty and domestic calm. This breed's relatively recent creation means its story is still unfolding, a quiet experiment in blending nature's aesthetics with human companionship. Let us float gently onward as we trace the quiet stripes of time. The turn of the century brought with it the toiger, a cat bred in the United States with the aim of echoing the miniature tiger's bold beauty in a domestic form. The toiger's coat is a tapestry of black stripes on rich orange or golden fur, each line carefully selected through generations to mimic the wild feline's patterns. Their body is muscular and sleek, built for silent, effortless motion. Though they carry the fierce look of their larger cousins, toigers are known for gentle and playful personalities, often forming deep bonds with their humans. Their fur is short and soft, requiring minimal grooming, a perfect combination of wild appearance and domestic ease. But first, a slow little detour. For this extra interesting fact, the toiger breed was created by Judy Sugden in the 1980s, inspired by a dream to have a house cat that looked like a tiger. And finally, though not a fully domestic breed, the Caracal stands as a mysterious hybrid born of a rare union between the wild Caracal and the Abyssinian domestic cat. Originating in Russia, the Caracal carries the tufted ears and striking facial markings of the Caracal, paired with the lithe body and warmth of the Abyssinian. This hybrid is not common and remains a subject of fascination and careful breeding. Their coat blends tawny warmth with delicate spots or stripes, while their demeanor balances wild alertness with a desire for connection. The Caracal reminds us gently that the boundaries between wild and tame are often softer than they appear, a whisper of nature's careful artistry. And now, as we let these last quiet images settle like leaves on a slow-moving stream, we prepare to continue this gentle journey. And so, we drift softly onward into the early 20th century, where a new feline emerged carrying the striking tapestry of the wild jungle onto domestic soil, the Bengal cat. Born in the United States through careful crossing of the wild Asian leopard cat with domestic breeds, the Bengal carries a coat that seems painted by moonlight filtering through leafy canopies. Its spotted and marbled fur patterns echo the wild ancestry, but beneath this striking exterior lies the gentle heart of a household companion. The Bengal's muscular frame moves with both power and grace, like a shadow slipping silently through the underbrush. These cats are known for their playful energy, but also their deep loyalty and affectionate nature, often engaging with their humans in games of chase or quiet moments of companionship. Their fur, sleek and soft, requires regular grooming to maintain its shimmering luster, much like tending to a garden where each leaf must be carefully cared for. But first, a slow little detour. For this extra interesting fact, the Bengal's wild ancestor, the Asian leopard cat, contributed not only to its appearance but also to a somewhat unique vocalization repertoire, sometimes including a chirping sound rarely heard in other domestic cats. Not far behind, in the unfolding dawn of the 1900s, the Savannah cat took shape, a breed created by crossing domestic cats with the wild serval of Africa. This elegant hybrid shares the serval's long legs and large ears, granting it a regal, statuesque appearance as if it has stepped directly out of a twilight safari. Their coats carry bold spots on a tawny background, and their movement is fluid and athletic, with a silent grace reminiscent of the tall grasses swaying under a soft breeze. While their wild ancestry is evident in their appearance and energy, savannas have been carefully bred to bring the wildness indoors without compromising a gentle temperament. They are known to be curious and intelligent, often delighting in interactive play and even water games. Their coats require minimal grooming, and their presence commands quiet attention, like the slow turning of a great gear in a forest mill. Let us float gently onward into a more mysterious corner of feline history. If your eyes are closed, if your thoughts are drifting, then my job here is done for today. Thank you for spending this unremarkable moment with me. You have listened to The Sleepy Sloth, where uninteresting things become the softest lullabies.